What's that?
Peter Rona.
Yeah. Do you know him?
Yeah, but he's on our show now.
Well, he's not on your show. As day 2 comes to. Welcome to the show, everyone. As we come to day 2 of finding out what's going on in the world, or our world here anyway. Stay cool, everybody, please. That's all I ask for everybody, to stay cool. I am networking with everybody already in here, and we're live on Facebook, so hi to everybody out there. Like us and follow us. We're going to be sharing the show in just a little bit. I have with me Howie and Havie, their radio show. They're the host here today. I want to let them go ahead and talk about why they're here and who they have with them. They have a special guest because they're kind of recognizing Veterans Day a little early for everybody. Go ahead.
Absolutely. We believe in supporting the veterans wholeheartedly. Howie is a veteran himself, of the Air Force. And we have a special guest here, Chuck Byers, who is the Purple Heart recipient and Silver Star recipient as well. So we're honored to have him on board here to tell us about what he does and how Havie and Howie can help him.
Well, you know what? First of all, I want to say thank you for your service, number one, for everybody out there in the service that has been helping us live the world, in the world that we live in our little world here, how we live. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So tell everybody, first of all, a little bit about you, and congratulations and thank you again for your service.
Thank you. Well, I've only been here in Arizona since 2012, and I moved here from New Jersey, and I was involved out in New Jersey with the veterans out there, and I worked on Chris Christie's task force with veterans. And when I came out here to Arizona, I figured if I could deal with Chris Christie, I could deal with anybody
Wow.
out here in Arizona. So it was good, and I had the opportunity to start off and volunteering and helping veterans, and I've always been a strong advocate. And maybe it stems from I was a medic in Vietnam, and my call sign was Big Band-Aid. So when they called you, you came. That was the thing.
I love that.
So I still help there, and I'm out there advocating and helping veterans. And I spent 6 years as the Chief Veteran Service Officer for the Vietnam veterans out here. And I helped them with all their claims. I belonged to appeals. The bureaucratic process. I always told the veterans, if you didn't have PTSD, by the time you finished your claim, you would,
Yeah.
because of the whole process part. But we're able to get a lot of veterans through, and I told them it's important to start the process. And to me, communication is very important, getting the right information out so they can make good informed choices. And that's kind of why I'm here today, because of the COVID situation. And we're losing a lot of veterans. I've buried too many recently, and a lot of
COVID.
Due to COVID. And what's happening is that a lot of the death certificates are reading COVID related and not showing other
Underlying conditions.
Right, exactly.
Like cancer or heart attack.
Cancer, heart attack, diabetes. And these are important because The spouse is eligible for what they call a DIC. And this is a dependency indemnity compensation that she would receive if the veteran died of a service-connected either principal reason for his death or something underlying contributing to his death, that she could receive this DIC. And this DIC is roughly about 45% of what he's receiving now. And this is all tax-free, so it continues. So if a veteran was service-connected and he was receiving a nice compensation, it stops
Wow.
when he dies.
That's sad.
That's
So-
financially devastating to that widow.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Not only did they lose the person they love, but they lost the money that they were accustomed to for their lifestyle.
So I want to ask you said you were a doctor, so you might be able to help me answer
Well,
that.
I'm not a doctor now. I was a combat medic, went into nursing.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was a nurse.
Well, you could still probably answer this. So let's say somebody did pass away
Yes.
during COVID, and
Yes.
part of it was COVID, but there was that underlying issue. Why can't they just do it like I would do it, would be COVID / whatever?
Because there's a financial gains for the hospital facilities to know that's COVID.
So, okay.
Right.
So, and
And-
that's what you're finding more and more.
Right, and the death certificate is being processed for the dependency indemnity compensation. And if it just shows COVID-related or heart stops or cardiac arrest, and it isn't showing anything, it can delay. And sometimes if the veteran hasn't been a service-connected totally for 10 years, the VA can say, we don't have to pay that claim. So that's why it's very important, and that's why I think it's important now, especially as we're getting up in that demographics, and we're kind of getting into those. Sit down and talk to your loved one. Make sure she knows where your DD-214 is. DD-214 is what you were given upon discharge, and they're going to need that DD-214 to bury you. They're going to need that DD-214 to process that disability as well.
And I just think that this is a perfect, gosh, do I love my show because of the fact, and it's now your show right now for the moment, but
That's right.
what I want to say that this information, how valuable this is for people that are listening to this, that hear this, that you really need to get your paperwork out is what's the bottom line.
Exactly, and get your things in affairs in order, but also don't go at it alone. Call Havie and Howie or Bravo Insurance Agency, and we'll help you get through these muddy waters.
At
At 480-818-3665.
Here's the thing that I think more than anything, you listening to this, they are here. What I love about Havie and Howie is they are here to help everybody out there and get them to be covered the right way, which is so important. I know I am now. And in having a conversation with them, you do free consultations with people. And what I also have to say too, and I've said this every time you're on my show practically, Howard, is that you're an older gentleman too, and so you can relate to people, but you really get to know your clients.
We do.
I love the way you work with people, so tell them a little bit about, what you do and why they should
Well, we
call.
ask a lot of questions because we need to help you as best we can, so that way you can get the maximum amount of benefit that you're entitled to. Okay? And Howie, Howard, and myself do that for everybody.
Well, we
Okay.
can't help you unless we really know you, basically. We're not trying to be invasive with our questioning. It's to get you the best situation that we possibly can.
Right.
Put you in the best position.
Right, and you do, absolutely. Now, the phone number to call them, it's 480-818-3665. Tell them again the form that they need to have.
The DD-214 is the discharge paper. This is what you're given when you leave the service. And if you don't have your DD-214, and some of us maybe have moved and put it in a box and we can't find these things, you can always go out and you can get the DD-214 by filing an SF-180, and that's sent to the Record Center in St. Louis, Missouri. And so you can get your record through that. And it's important to have that document.
And it's important not only to have that document, but all your documents together and have them do a consultation with you to find out how they can help you and serve you to make sure that you are covered to be, feel, what's the word that I'm looking for? To feel secure that you know.
To have the peace of mind. That
Peace of mind was a perfect one to say it.
Right, so that you've explored every avenue possible to help your spouse, your loved ones.
And especially if you are married to someone, either way, it doesn't matter. Please get these papers together and make sure that you have them. The number to call them direct, it's 480-818-3665. Call them. They do a free consultation. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk further. And the Facebook, YouTube.
Very good.
Are you liking that?
So far.
Okay.
Let's see if I can get this headphone for you here.
Now, do you want me to, do you have, am I correct?
Exactly.
Okay, got it. That's
Yeah.
all I needed
For-
to hear.
For aid in attendance, for.
Do you
for
want, okay,
disability. Yep.
so now I'm gonna let you handle this, okay? Because these are aid and attendance, all this stuff I don't have written down and I
Right.
don't know. So I'm gonna let you kind of like go ahead
I'm gonna
with.
lead him into it, because he's the expert.
That's fine. However,
What I'll
I'm
do is
gonna
I'll
let you
lead you
lead
into
into
the
him.
aid and
Or
attendance.
and
I'll
I'm gonna
talk
let
about
you
it.
do that part of it, because I'm not sure, in my mind, it's going like this right now.
I'm going to talk about the Comprehensive Caregivers Program just briefly,
Okay,
because it just was announced October 1st, the final ruling. And then this will, because they'll say, well, what does this have to do with my aid attendance? It's totally separate from aid and attendance.
Caregivers Act, right? So,
Hmm?
Caregivers Act?
Yeah, that's, is that a flow? Is that how you want it
Well,
to
you're
flow?
doing fine.
what'd he say? What did he say?
That's all fine.
You're doing fine.
He's busy, his mind is on Medicare too.
Oh, it is.
I know.
So there's-
I know.
Yeah.
He's like, that's fine.
Okay.
I got a great marketing tool, create a paper safe.
Oh, there you go.
You got
What is that?
Paper,
Paper safe, so you can put all these papers
in the cloud. Put it in the cloud, too.
Well, no, you need document. You need the
I know.
physical document.
You did, yeah, but at least, yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one for Howard.
You should come in with a safe with the lock and the whole thing.
Oh, no.
Paper safe.
Props, you mean?
Paper
I
safe
miss
to
your
put
props.
your documents in.
Man, you didn't bring any?
I
Well,
don't.
many
Not even
people
a
do have
lesson?
safe deposit boxes for their important. Right.
But you know
You know
what?
how many spouses don't know where their husband's DD 214 is?
Oh, I'd say
A
majority
lot,
of them.
a lot.
Thank you. We had one in our house that was I liked it because it was in the ground.
Yeah,
No one
but
could
just,
walk away with it. No one
just
knew where it
knowing
was.
where these documents are. So many, I've asked spouses, do you know what your husband's service connection disabilities are? And a lot of them don't even
We're
know.
gonna talk about that too. All this kind of stuff. I hope we need it in an hour. I was thinking maybe that was a phone call for you from somebody from the show that was listening.
No, I told him not. No, it's not.
It's funny. Turn your phone off.
Yeah, it was somebody else. They're in the hospital, so sorry.
Here we go, guys. Welcome back, everyone. We're talking about peace of mind here, but what is most important is that everybody has their paperwork, everything together, knowing where they are, dusting them off, pulling them out, figuring out what you have, what you need, and talking to somebody who's experienced that knows what you need. And also, I mean, having documents and not knowing where they're, it all has to come into play. So talk a little bit about some of the things that you also wanted to talk about today.
Okay, let me add to that. Not just knowing where the documents are, telling somebody else, your child, your spouse, where
So
they're at.
important.
Because when you're incapacitated, you need
Incapacitated.
incapacitated. You need these people need to know this where it's at.
Well, here's the thing too, and I think people need to make this conversation like we're having here an easy conversation with the family members. And I have said that before, because for me, and we're not even talking about some of the things that have happened before, but to me, that's what made it hard on my family, was that they didn't make that an easy conversation. So then when everything happened, guess what hit the fans, you know what I mean?
Right.
So go ahead.
That's not uncommon either.
Right.
It happens a lot.
Right, right.
So, Howard and myself help veterans from every branch of the service, all that kind of stuff. But veterans aid and attendance is very important to know your rights and what your limits are. It covers household expenses. Okay, you lose one out of the 6 activities that they live in, not 2, but just 1. You have to have 1 day of active service during a time of war. There's a lot of little rules, but to navigate those waters, call us at
That number?
480-818-3665. You better call Bravo to help you out. Don't do it on your own. Now, more about.
Well, you know, along with the aid and attendance, and as of October the 1st, veterans that served prior to 1975 now can go through what they call the Comprehensive Caregivers Program. And what does that mean? Well, you know, you have your aid attendants and you know, there's compensation that's paid for that disability and what's happening. But what happens, somebody's taking care of you. You mentioned the active daily living activities, maybe have trouble feeding, maybe have trouble medication management, going to appointments and things. That all comes under this new caregivers program. There was a caregivers program for post 9/11. That was the legacy, but now this new ruling as of October 1st, based on the signing of the Mission Act in 2018 that expanded, will now allow a family member, it can be a spouse, it can be a daughter, to take care of the veteran that really needs help again. And that's going to be kind of our long-term care. And so, but by doing this and doing this program, the benefit is that the VA will pay that family member $2,800 a month or $1,700 a month. And it depends on the eligibility. And the eligibility is that you have to be at least 70% disabled, service connected.
That's right.
And you've got to be around for about 6 months.
You have to survive
That's
6
important.
months.
You have to
Right,
survive
right.
6 months. So, but it's a program that the VA is instituting. They have an advocate there. And as we'll know more about this, it's a very simple form to fill out. It's a 1010 caregivers, 1010 CG, and they would fill this out and they would apply for this. And what the VA now is doing for the caregivers is now they're eligible, the caregiver itself is eligible for CHAMP VA.
Wow. Now,
So-
I just have a quick question. I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's important.
It's your show.
Sort of. But here's what I want to ask you is that you have all of these forms that they can call you and get.
Yes, we
because-
have access to those forms.
Yeah, I think because, you know, they're listening to this
Sure,
and
I know.
they might not be able to write it down and they're like, what was that? So they can call you and you can make sure that they have all the forms that they need.
That's another better call Bravo.
That's right. Let me tell you, they're better write this number down and call Bravo. It's 480-818-3665.
So this is really an event here that we're talking about where the government sees a need to expand long-term care. But the same is true of civilians, those who aren't veterans, those who aren't service-connected, disabled basically. The need is still there. The need for documentation that you spoke about earlier, that need is still there. Documentation. Who's going to take over for you and run your business if you're a small businessman? Who's going to have the power at law in order to run a business? Well, that's why you need documents. You need all sorts of documents. If you're not concerned about businesses, if you send your kid off to college, 18 years old, you may not be able to get information about any injury that they may sustain because they are adults and you have no power unless you create that through documentation.
And those are power of attorneys, durable power of attorneys, medical power
Right.
of attorneys, and HIPAA forms.
And we're all connected with folks who do that kind of work, and some of whom are even offering a discount to veterans during this particular Veterans Month, basically.
Better call Bravo. Their phone number
Once
is
again.
480-818-3665.
Can I expand on what Chuck was saying? The
George,
care that these the care that these veterans are receiving from spouses, from children, okay, is finally being recognized, because there's a monetary amount due them, because they're taking their lifestyle and changing themselves.
I was just
no
going to
longer
say that.
working themselves, caring for their families and all that, but now they're at least monetizing it and reimbursing them.
Here's the thing you were mentioning that, and you said it so fast. You have to say it again,
Right.
because there are a lot of caregivers too that are obviously it could even be a family member that's become a caregiver, right?
That's right.
Come on, let's talk about that one more time. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, your loved one, your spouse, if she's able to care, but you know, a daughter, someone that is at least has accessibility to you, that can be there and help you with those daily living requirements. And it might be just as simple as, you know, making appointment arrangements, getting you to the doctor, medication management, you know,
Feeding, dressing,
and they say
bathing.
bathing, and you don't even have to bathe every day, but bathing,
But they're
helping with
they're
bathing.
being recognized at this point,
Yes,
right? And that's
absolutely.
really great. But for what we're talking about here is the importance of being prepared.
Absolutely.
It is about being prepared and having, and of course, now we're kind of narrowing this. Of course, everybody needs to be prepared, and everyone should call Bravo.
That's right.
Okay, but right now we're also talking about vets right now. Anybody who has been in the military in any way, shape, or form. There are, like you said, there's forms you need to have. There's documents that you need to know. They need to be looked at, checked to make sure that they're all up to date. All these kinds of things. Go ahead.
Absolutely. If you don't keep things up to date, then what's going to happen later on? Tragedy.
And
Chaos.
you better call.
Preparedness is the key. Preparedness is the key.
Exactly.
Absolutely, and I might want to say is that you just can't depend upon the government to take over and you know, do these things.
They
for
take
you.
a long time,
Yes.
don't they?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll vote on that.
Honestly, though, that is a big problem. That is the biggest problem when you do not have your paperwork and things all in order. Mine are on my side table now, and as
They're
every
getting closer.
but as something pops up in my mind that I hear from everybody that comes on the show, I might put, oh, I need to think about that, right? And that's what I love about the show, is that it gives people the opportunity to hear things that you might not be thinking about, but now it's put in your head, right?
Right.
And better call Bravo, because they're here to help you make sure that you do have peace of mind, that everything is put together for you in the correct manner. That number is 480-818-3665.
Well, Howard, do you want to add anything to this?
I think we just about covered the waterfront. I think what's important to know is there's 17.5 million veterans out there, and this gentleman takes care of most of them pretty damn well. But for the guys who are not covered under veterans programs, that's where Bravo comes in. That's where our agency comes in. You still need wills, you still need trusts, you still need other forms of documentation. You need to consider your entire financial picture. You've got to consider getting out of debt, which may be blocking you from making forward progress on your retirement planning. You need to protect your family from tragic losses, unplanned, unforeseen events. That's what we are all about.
An
We meaning
umbrella.
the three of us at the stage.
I mean, we can talk about Bravo Insurance, but now it's sort of branched out even more
We've
so.
expanded greatly, and now we also have a life insurance product to cover these VA mortgages to pay them off.
Absolutely, sure.
Absolutely, with living
And
benefits.
those are the living benefits. And when I heard that, I was like, my ears perked up. Listen, all of you people out there that are single that now, from, you know, maybe you're a widow, and you know, you're listening to this information. Again, tell them that form real quickly again, that they may need to make sure that they have.
Well, just make sure that you do have the DD 214. The DD 214 is, you know, it could be put someplace, and if you can't find it, make sure you file an SF 180 and go get it from St. Louis, and they'll help you here.
Just
If you don't know, you better call Bravo, because they're going to take care of you. That phone number is 480-818-3665.
And we didn't say Happy Veterans Day.
You didn't
Shoot.
say Veterans Day, yeah, that's right. So,
I think people will catch the connection.
I think so.
Right, this is Pennsylvania.
Hold on.
They're calling about the ballots.
Oh, I was
What
gonna
was
say,
that?
I haven't,